It's springtime and I'm craving some coconut cake. And why not make it into a bunny while we're at it? This delicate cake is easy to make. It's lightly flavored with coconut extract and shredded sweetened coconut in the batter and iced with a cream cheese frosting and extra coconut if desired. So this cake recipe uses two techniques that help the final product be light, airy, and delicate and have a tender crumb. The first is using cake flour rather than all-purpose flour. Cake flour is finely milled flour that's designed to produce tender, light, and airy baked goods by limiting gluten formation. You can make your own cake flour in a pinch, but it's really easy to find in the grocery store. It's right next to the regular flour in the baking aisle. The second technique is using egg whites with a little bit of cream of tartar and whipping it into soft peaks and then folding that into the batter right before baking. This just adds a little extra air into the cake so that it's got that light and fluffy texture when it's baked. Now, I got this recipe from a magazine many years ago, and I have made it a few times. The picture in the magazine that I have is really pretty. This is actually a 3-layer cake, and the layers are pretty thin. You can stack them with icing in between, and it makes a beautiful 3-layer cake. And the picture that I have from the magazine has a bird's nest that they made out of pieces of coconut. I don't know exactly how they did that. I can't remember. I think maybe they took a real coconut and just shaved pieces, and it looks like a bird's nest. They just shaped it and put it together. And then they put some little eggs inside, and it's really cool. I've also made this cake with toasted coconut, which just adds a little extra flavor and crunch, and it's really tasty. So if you like toasted coconut, you might try it that way. This time I decided to make a bunny cake because I don't think I've ever made one. When I was a kid, probably like 5 or 6, we would go up to my grandma Audrey's and spend Easter with her and my cousins, who are similar ages as I am, and have Easter egg hunts and a meal together and things. And we have this one picture of my grandma, and she had made a bunny cake this one year, and it was a coconut cake with ears and everything, just like I'm gonna make. And I just really like that picture, and I remember that occasion, and it gives me good memories. So I don't know, as I get older, I feel like those kind of memories are even more special to me because the ones that I love are not with me anymore, and I just want to recreate those memories. Do you have any memories like that? What's funny is my brother-in-law also has a memory of his mother making a bunny cake, so they must have been really popular back in the day. I don't know, do people still make bunny cakes? Oh, I forgot to tell you about one other very important ingredient in this cake, which is buttermilk. Buttermilk just adds a little extra something that just makes things really good. And I do know that you can make your own buttermilk if you don't have it. I've done that many, many times. You just take milk. Usually it works better if it's whole milk or 2%, and you add like a teaspoon of, depending on how much milk you're using, a little bit of vinegar. And I like apple cider vinegar myself. But this time I went all out and I just bought the stuff. So I'll be making lots of recipes with buttermilk because I have about a half a container left in there. But anyway, don't leave that out because it's very important to the flavor. Okay, so I don't know what I was thinking here. I started hand mixing these egg whites, and honestly, it took me about 5 minutes with the mixer to get these egg whites fluffed up. So I don't know what I was thinking with that hand mixer. But yeah, here's my little electric mixer that I just got with the one with the one paddle on it, and yeah, it worked. It took a while. It probably would have been faster if I'd had to. I don't know. I'm thinking about replacing this mixer. I just can't figure out what to do with it. Why they made it with only one paddle, I'll never know. Okay, now I'm starting to fold the egg whites in, and don't forget to go under and up and over very gently. Don't stir this. You're folding it in like you're tucking it in with a blanket is how I think of it. And it really does add some loft to this cake. It's interesting how these little egg whites can do that, but very important step. Now, like I said, this makes a 3-layer cake, but the layers are kind of thin. So it's not going to be like a huge tall cake. It's just going to be like a regular size layer cake when you get done with it. It just has an extra layer in there so that you can put that yummy filling in. And you know, this cake really has a good flavor. I tasted the batter while I was making it, and I was thinking it would probably make a delicious pineapple upside down cake too. So anybody who likes coconut and pineapple, that would be a great combination. So I generally make my cakes the night before because I've found that baked goods often taste better after they've kind of been baked for a day. I don't know, there's some scientific thing going on there, but also it's a lot to make the whole thing all in one day. So just so you know, you can make this ahead of time. I just wrapped it with plastic wrap and left it on the counter, or you can make it way ahead of time, wrap it up really good with plastic or foil and freeze it, and then just take it out, you know, like maybe the morning of your event, if you're having an evening event, several hours before, and ice it. And actually sometimes frosting a cake that's been frozen is easier than a fresh cake because there's not as much crumb that gets into your icing. So there's that hint. Now the icing is a cream cheese icing that has coconut and vanilla in it. It was very smooth when I used the mixer, and it had a very light, delicate cream cheese flavor with just a hint of coconut. It wasn't overpowering at all. I recommend tasting your icing quite a bit. It's just makes the process better. But also, on occasion, I've made icing and not tasted it as I went along, and sometimes I have added a little too much or a little too little powdered sugar to the mix, and it just didn't taste quite right. So don't be afraid to taste your food as you go. I have some willing taste testers that just find the right time to come in almost every time I'm baking something, and they are so glad to help me make sure that that tastes good. So as I pieced my cake together, I did have one layer I didn't have 3 of the same size pans, so one of the layers was a little slightly bigger, and it kind of broke when I took it out of the pan. So that was the one I used for the bow tie, and that worked out great. And then there was a little bit of sampling left too. But this was really easy to cut, and when I made the ears, I didn't have to worry about them falling apart. I mean, they were very solid, so I just moved it over onto the pan. This is just a cookie sheet that I covered with parchment. And I did travel with this, and I would recommend if you travel with it, you might want to put it on a pan with like a ridge around it, or maybe even like glue your cake down with a little icing and tape your parchment or whatever you cover your pan with, because it did slide around a little bit and gave me some anxiety as I was going on my way. The icing was so silky and easy to use. I gave my little guy a bow tie because several of the examples that I saw had done that, and I thought it was cute. So this was my little Easter bunny guy, and I had some leftover jelly beans that I used on his bow tie to help it be a little bit more colorful. I've seen these little Easter bunny cakes decorated lots of different ways with licorice and different other things, but I decided to go kind of basic and just use what I had so that I didn't have to go out and buy some extra candy or make icing colors or anything. So I just used these jelly beans and I think he turned out okay. And then I just sprinkled the rest of his face with the shredded coconut. And it was interesting, the coconut kind of crisped up a little bit when it was sitting on the cake, and so it had just the slightest of a crunch. So it was like a sugary crunch on every bite. It was very good. So in the comments, I'd like to know, have you ever made a bunny cake? Do you have any special memories of someone that has? Or do you have another tradition for Easter or springtime that you like to make? So I had a lot of fun making this cake, and I hope you'll try it. Even if you don't make it into a bunny, just make it into a regular old cake. Or you could even make cupcakes. That would probably be good. I think I may have done that once before and put toasted coconut on those. But anyway, try it out. Let me know what you think. And I just want to thank you all for your support and for watching my videos. I'm having a lot of fun and I'm learning a lot too. And I think I'm getting a little bit better at cooking. I don't know. I'll have to ask my husband. Enjoy!